Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And we are Green Wisdom Health, home of the low-cost lab work, here to help you with your health goals and educate you about alternative methods of taking care of what you're looking for with your health. Today we are excited to talk to you about too tired to sleep. With the daylight savings time that just happened to us in Texas, I know some of you guys don't have that, but for us that do, it becomes a pretty rough week the following week because your time is all off. And if you don't sleep to start with, and then you have darkness in the morning, it makes it extra hard to get up in the morning. So Dr. Lewis is going to talk with us today about what's going on, how to stop it, how to get rest when you're supposed to have it, and how to get a full 8 hours of sleep and why you might not.
You think I've got the answers to that?
You have the answers to everything, doctor.
Yeah, but they're not always correct.
So won't you educate us about why we can't sleep, why we're up all night and don't go to sleep, and what's happening in between?
Well, there's going to be a lot of answers, I think, to this, and it's, going down the rabbit trail. So you can kind of, I think, if you let your intuition listen, you'll probably figure out something that may be true for you. I'm a big fan of talking about toxins because they're real and they're horribly affecting our health. And this has been said for decades and decades and decades, but most doctors ignore it. For example, I've noticed that some people have trouble sleep and do better when we put them on a detox. And there's different types of detoxes that you need to consider doing. And I think you should get some outside advice to do that. I think everybody's deficient in vitamins and minerals. We treat people that are organic farmers in 10, 12, 20 states at any given time. And you don't have enough vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and one of the reasons I say that is because the USDA actually reports, statistically speaking, you have greater than 90% chance of being deficient in your vitamins and minerals. And for those of you that don't trust the USDA, so if we're saying greater than 90%, take it to the bank, it's closer to 100. Some people are on a big exercise kick, and I'm all for moving the body and mild to moderate exercise, but I've seen many, many people that deplete their nutrients because they exercise so bad, and it creates more of the free radicals. So if you do exercise, you automatically need more ACE, CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid, because they're the ones that's they're working in your body to reduce the oxidative damage. Just following a diet plan, I read a pretty interesting article the other day that said, and this is from Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, said for the most popular diet plans, if you followed it very, very strictly, were 56% in essential vitamins and minerals. And, one of the things, there's all kinds of things out there saying, take this protein, this is the best, the latest, the greatest. Even the best of, I reviewed 10 of them, even the best of the 10 kind of stunk because it had magnesium oxide and cyanocobalamin, and those are not very absorbable nutrients. Back to why we can't sleep, because we are full of toxins, and there are many, many ways we can help you detoxify. And back in 2005, there was a study done by the American Red Cross. They took fetal cord blood from 10 newborns, and they found 287 chemicals inside the samples, which were dioxins, phthalates, pesticides, Teflon byproducts, and flame retardants, etc., etc. Well, I don't think that baby had any Teflon fried chicken or flame retardants. You've got to understand it's coming from the mother. And then there was another study from neurotoxicology, which, I think that's pretty credible. Took the first bowel movements of 426 infants, so that's a pretty good sample. 84% of them contained mercury. Well, where'd that come from, folks? 27% contained lead, 27% had DDT, and that's a pesticide that's been banned, I think, since 1970-something, when it was breaking the eagle's eggs were thin. So it's in the babies, which means it's in the mother, which means it's in all of us. So, pay attention. I think that's why people don't sleep. I read another article that said women had more trouble sleeping than men. And we're going to talk about depression too. But I think women have more trouble sleeping than men because they're worried about the crazy antics of their husband.
Well, I think a lot of times for women, it comes after having a baby because you're always like not ever in a really deep sleep because you're worried about your baby crying. So it seems like once you become a mother, that seems to kick in also, that you just don't sleep as deeply.
I think that's true.
So maybe we really need to be knocked out so we can sleep through it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I was more nurturing back when I had babies. So, I was the one that got up and changed diapers and fed them. So
that was not me, folks.
Yeah, that was not. Janet's an incredible mother. Grandmother now. I don't know how she can be 32 and really good looking and be a grandmother, but
that's for another show.
I think for women it's a hormonal shift. And, one of the things I see, I tell people, don't look at the surface, dig deep, ask more questions. Hormone problems. Well, so what? Why do almost every woman we do lab on have a very improper ratio of estradiol to progesterone to testosterone? Well, it's because these phthalates and Teflon products and fire retardants, etc., act like estrogen. So that's why we have too much, and that's why the liver is so important. That's why you have to have proper bowel movements. That's why you have to have enough fiber. That's why you have to have probiotics and keep putting them in so that your body can detoxify and get those bad estrogens out rather than be reabsorbed. So, that's kind of my story on that. I think women do tend to worry too much. Not that Janet does, but a lot of women do.
Well, what about the shifts in hormone levels for a woman, the estrogen and progesterone, because they fluctuate during a woman's menstrual cycle? Does that affect their sleep as well?
Yeah. So it's not just the estrogens I talked about. Yeah, I think that is true.
I think progesterone actually can have a hypnotic property to it, which we sell natural progesterone, and I really do think it helps with sleeping issues.
I think that's true, but I'm very careful to go to that subject because I've had so many women with hormonal imbalances rip my head off when I'm trying to be sympathetic and try to understand. But yeah, there are fluctuations because there's many women that, back when I practiced chiropractic to a great degree, they say, well, I have headaches. And I'll say, well, what part of your cycle were you in? They look at me dumbfounded, and then many of them could make that correlation. So, yeah, I think you're right, Janet. And also the sleep cycles change, as you get older. And you notice more elderly people. I don't have a clue who they are. I think somebody old is always somebody 15 years older than whatever I am.
It's not us.
But Janet's 81-year-old daddy thinks the same thing. He'll talk about old people. Janet says, hey, Dad, what are you talking about? How old do you have to be old? He said 15 years older than whatever I am. So he's 81. He's still really young in the way that he thinks and the way that he acts. Having babies, we get a lot of people with postpartum depression. It's because you're nutrient deficient anyway, and you just gave your body just gave your baby everything it could to make a baby as healthy as possible. Menopause, holy geez, the hot flashes, that's one I run for the hills. If there's a woman here to take care of the person that walks in or a phone call, I run because I've had my head chopped off more than once trying to talk about that. Stress, anxiety, and depression, which I hope to get into in more depth because I'm always asking questions. Do you sleep or lack of sleep because you're depressed, or you depressed, one way or the other? It can go both directions. And depression, stress, and anxiety is a huge thing nowadays. We've all got an opinion, and I think most of them are pretty short-sighted, but, that's me.
Well, I think there's one key ingredient or one product that you can really take that really does help you stay asleep longer, and it's good for so many things. They say over 300 functions in the body, and that's our reacted magnesium. It's inexpensive.
Slowly released, which is good. That means no diarrhea.
Well, it helps, especially women that are pregnant and can't sleep and they have restless leg syndrome. Any of you that have that at night.
She's being sexist. She left out the men. Not that we get pregnant, but men have that too.
Restless leg. But magnesium actually helps you really sleep well.
Helps lower blood pressure and increases your heart activity.
And the reason we say the reacted one is because it has different kinds of magnesium. It's not just people think, oh gosh, magnesium, I'm going to go have diarrhea because that's what it does. The citrate form of it does that, but not, there is citrate in ours as well, but there's other forms of it that does not cause that. So you can't take too much of it that makes you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, if you use citrate, it's because you're a little bit constipated, and that helps. But
yeah, you're depressed and can't go to if you're depressed and aren't going to the bathroom good, then you need the citrate form of it because then it will help you go to the bathroom. That helps depression and your restless legs.
Yeah, which goes into that's one of the reasons you're toxic. But, you've got magnesium malate, we've got lysinate and glycinate. They're just hooked to different amino acids, which makes it better absorbed and more slowly absorbed. I thought Janet was going to talk about 5-HTP, which is... It goes from L-tryptophan to 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan. I'd like to go into a little bit of the research about that. And you don't just take this to sleep. You can take it to chill out. That's the thing that people say, I don't know what he gave me a sample of, but it was a piece of God in a bottle. So
love 5-HTP.
Yeah, she gives it to me and says... I'm nicer when I take it. So
that is one of the only times that I remember that he and I ever had what we would call an altercation, is because both of us needed 5-HTP because it helps you flow and it helps you be nice. And I remember saying something to him about, did you have your 5-HTP today? And he said, did you have yours? And I thought, okay.
I don't remember saying that at all, but which I really don't think I did. But I'm usually like, hey, I don't rush you. That would be very rude and impolite. And she's very, very nice to me. She spoils me rotten. All the men are jealous. But the L-tryptophan, which I take that in addition to 5-HTP, and I take the time-released stuff, and it's different ones for different people. But there's plenty of studies that says it's as potent, if not more so, than some of its fluvoxamine, which is a Prozac-like antidepressant. And this is a study that was published in Journal of Psychopathology, so it's real. And it also augments the effectiveness of some of the tricyclic antidepressants. That's from Journal Archives of General Psychiatry. These are not opinions, folks. This is real research. This is not a Google opinion. It's not... I'm not going to mention that, but there's one that's real popular that's just full of bull. Let's see. People have fewer relapses of depression when they use the L-tryptophan / 5-HTP, Journal of Psychiatry review. Glutamine is really, really good. Now, glutamine is just famous for helping the cell... the lining of the GI tract to replicate itself and heal. So you notice, what's the GI tract got to do with whether you're depressed or not, or whether you sleep or not? It has everything to do with it. So glutamine and glycine's in a lot of our formulas, which is a major cleanser that works on some of these receptors and makes you happier and helps your body to detox. Again, that's from Journal of Archives of General Psychiatry. Yeah, I read a lot. Let me get controversial for just a minute. Low cholesterol is one of the worst things you can do if you're depressed, because you need that cholesterol to repair your brain. And I know you can read that low cholesterol will make you young, rich, and good looking, but most of the research will refute that. Low cholesterol actually increases your risk of suicide, and that's from Journal of Epidemiology. That's not my opinion, and there's plenty of books on that too. 5-HTP is famous for increasing serotonin levels, and that's the one that kind of makes you feel happy and less likely to snack. So, again, it's not just used for sleep. Use it during the day for depression, stress, anxiety. I don't know. I just think it's really, really incredible. And, let's get simple. Humor is one of the best things you can do. And that's from Journal of Psychiatric Medicine, too.
Well, you need to talk about the differences in strength as well, because we have two different kinds of 5-HTP on the website. One's a 50 milligram, and one is 100 milligram.
50 is usually for kids.
Correct.
Normally, an adult should go for the 100 milligrams. And I've seen a couple of people that take 5-HTP and they'd slam them down. They had to take a 30-minute nap. That's rare, but it does happen. I think it's 1 every 500 people. I've only seen it twice, and one guy he said that. I don't think it was true because he didn't want to take anything, and that's why he's younger than me. He's already had 3 heart attacks, but, why don't you throw in the nutrients and ask God to bless it, because it does make a huge, huge difference.
Well, in the 50 milligram for the kids, we would give that to our teenagers when they were getting ready to go take a test at school, because it helped them retain the information that they had learned and helped them focus so that they would get a better grade. And when our son was going through high school, he would always take it, and he would always come out a grade average better on the test than what he did without it, because he couldn't stay focused without it. And his friends would come over and borrow some.
Yeah, and his teacher started liking him, and he became the teacher's pet because it calmed him down instead of putting him on Ritalin. When I was a kid, they said don't do drugs, and then they're putting kids on drugs. But I don't want to get too controversial. And y'all, if you've listened to me long enough, you know that's a lie. So it is
controversial. Speaking of which...
Well, if you want to be normal, look around and see what normal is. And I sure as heck don't want to be normal.
Okay, go ahead. We do have a few questions, though, for our listeners today in our question segment. We have a couple of really fun stories to tell you, for one. But our first question comes from Nathaniel R., and he asked about a flaky scalp and what to do about it. Seems like every time he washes his hair, even if it's with a good shampoo and conditioner, his scalp is still flaky. So he's wondering, what do you take, or what's wrong?
I think number one, the omega-3 fish oils. Number 2, zinc, or maybe it's switched, but I would try those two. I had a question the other day, lady. Really didn't trust me, you could tell. Well, what makes your fish oil better than everybody else's? And I told her what research to read, and she gave up because either she didn't want to read it or she muddled through it. And the fish oil we have, which it's a triglyceride ester, is 393% more absorbable than, say, an ethyl ester. And again, if you've listened to me a long time, I'm not a biochemist, don't claim to be, hated chemistry, but I did have to pass it, so I do know a little bit about it. We sell the really, really good stuff, so you can take less of it. So it's not more expensive; it's more absorbable.
Okay, so basically,
zinc and
a fish oil.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have also a great story. We recently got SBI in their capsules or powders. They're a immunoglobulin that goes in and repairs gut function.
Yeah, if you got leaky gut, you need to be on it.
Yes, and we've been kind of waiting for feedback because Dr. Lewis and myself have been taking it. And of course, we take so many things. It's hard for us to tell which thing is doing it, but
we feel better, and we don't know if it's all in our head too.
Right,
we want to make sure it's real.
So we had a customer. Her name is Karen T. And for a long time now, she has had chronic diarrhea. And
explosive, many, many times per day.
Yeah, she's a teacher.
She has to lecture students.
Yes. Yeah, and she's had every kind of test known to man trying to figure out what's wrong and how to stop it.
And yes, I sent her to her GI doc.
Yes, and she did all those testing. And nothing could stop it. They wanted to put her on some real high-powered drug, which she really didn't want to do, so she's been holding off and not doing it. And she said literally she can't make it through her class before she has to go to the bathroom. Well, any of you that have that out there know that when you go to the bathroom all the time, you get very tired because it takes everything out of you. It takes all the good minerals and everything from you as well. So you're very depleted of everything. She started on this SBI Protect 3 weeks ago, roughly. And she came in yesterday and she said, I have literally gone 2 weeks now with no diarrhea whatsoever. And she is absolutely thrilled. She looks fantastic because she's getting the color back in her face. She's got light back in her eyes again because she's not so depleted.
Her husband's not thrilled, though, because he had to go look at the fully formed bowel movements.
Yeah, she was so thrilled to have a fully formed bowel movement, which she's not had in ages. And you know I get really excited about bowel movements when you talk about them. So that's my thing. Got to make sure everything's going through, because we don't want carts, even though we got trains going through the tunnel, we want them to be filled properly whenever they come through.
I would say she's perverted and weird, but then she married me, so I guess she's not.
Good point. And then we have another question, and then I have another really great story. So this is our fun day. Every day's our fun day.
Yeah,
we
bet.
love these stories because it makes our job worthwhile. We know we're helping people's lives get better, and we appreciate you guys' feedback too. If y'all have any interesting, fun stories to tell us of things that you've experienced. We have a young girl. Her name is Kim K. She has eye floaters and is wondering what could be happening, the reason she's having these floaters all the time.
She felt like she needed to take her hand and wipe her eye. And the real truth is, I don't know. I've got some ideas, but I asked, well, did you go to an optometrist? Yes, a couple of them. Did you go to an ophthalmologist? Yes, a couple of them. They said it's normal. I said, well, you shouldn't have to pull off the side of the road to try to clean your eye out so you can see the road. And I noticed that her pupils were very, very dilated, like a lot of young teenagers, because they're running on empty. I love that expression. And dilated pupils, if you're not on drugs, means you have adrenal exhaustion, and that's really, really common to have adrenal exhaustion. I think we should take stress off these kids, and lack of sleep and depression is really common in these kids. So, and the other thing, she has a history of anemia, so we're thinking it's one of those two. We'll let you know when the lab work comes back, and we'll see if we get just by throwing in good nutrition, we'll see if her body can take that and heal with it, which kind of leads us up, to what we're going to talk about in a second.
Well, and also cholesterol can also be a factor in that, not so much in young kids, but we've had other older or middle-aged people that say they have that, and it's high cholesterol.
That's true, and I forgot about it. So maybe I need more cholesterol to repair my brain.
So it could be any of those things, which leads us to, you don't know what it is.
Yeah,
So if you don't know, we recommend lab work. And like I said, we are the home of the low-cost lab work. And based on what Dr. Lewis is talking about today, I think our comprehensive panel is probably the best indicator for finding out why you're not sleeping, if that's an issue. If you have floaters, cholesterol's on there also.
Or if you're depressed and stressed and have brain fog. I hear that all the time.
Correct. And the reason why we say the comprehensive panel, because it does come with cortisol, which Dr. Lewis spoke about. It can be high or low, and you won't sleep either direction. It's like low, you want to sleep all the time. And if it's too high, you don't go to bed. And you're one of those people that are filling out health surveys at our place from 12 to 3 in the morning because you're not asleep.
We see a lot of that, too.
Yes. So that would be what we would recommend, is order the comprehensive panel. It's GWH number 3 when you go on the website. And the reason you need to pick that one is because it does come with a complimentary consultation, a functional medicine report, and Dr. Lewis's recommended supplement schedule, so you're not guessing at what products you need, and you get to speak with him directly, and he gets to discuss with you what's going on with your lab findings. And for those that are thinking, y'all are in Texas and can't help me, well, yes, we can. We are available across the United States. If you go on our website, there's actually a map that you can click on and put in your zip code, and it will tell you the closest Quest diagnostic lab station to you to draw the lab. You basically pay for it on the website. You go there and have it drawn. All the results come back to Dr. Lewis, and then we can go over everything with you via the phone. And now we've added in Zoom, so you can actually look at him if you'd like, which is a great feature for some.
Well, yeah, right.
And
I got a beautiful face for audio, not for video.
so we can help you anywhere you are. So don't think that you are beyond help. We are here to help you wherever you are. And Dr. Lewis, would you like to tell us the really fun story, which that other one was fun too? They're just different, but about the man.
No, I don't want to. You took the call.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll tell the story.
Janet was crying.
Well, it didn't start out that way. We have a patient of ours that is having he's full-blown cancer, prostate cancer. It's already metastasized to other organs, and basically his PSA was very high. Before he came in here, it was a 30, and I think the cutoff on it is a 5.
4.
A 4. See, Dr. Lewis should tell this story. It's a 4, but before he came here, it was a 30, and then the week that he came in to see us, it was a 35 at his doctor's office. And, of course, we ran lab again on him, and based on the recommendations, we put him on, this has been about 3 weeks ago, I guess, we put him on the Prostatrol and Dim Detox and Polyresveratrol. And we told the daughter of the man that, we're no way curing cancer. We're not stopping this. If anything, we're probably just buying him a little bit of time, she understood that.
Yeah, and the wife understood. I don't treat cancer.
Right.
You go to a cancer doctor for that.
Right. Anyway, 3 weeks fast forward, the young lady, the daughter, calls me yesterday. She's bawling on the phone when I answer the phone, and she said, "I'm so sorry, I'm crying." And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "It's my dad." She said, "We just went to the doctor, and I had asked the doctor previously, will a PSA ever go back down?" And that doctor told her, I've seen it happen one time in my whole career, so it's your odds of that are very slim that it'll ever go back down. This was at a 35 at that time. Well, when the doctor ran the lab on him the couple of days ago, his PSA was at a 9, which 4 is the cutoff, so it was 5 points over normal with him being on those 3 products for 3 weeks. And then I started crying because that's just cool. I mean, that's, again, something God does. So, we were just here to direct it through. And like I told her, I hope you don't think we're reversing cancer, because we're not. But he now maybe has some quality of life, which is, for him, was what he wanted.
Well, sometimes they have 2 or 3 months to live and they die 3 years later. Don't think that you can cure cancer, but your body can give you a higher quality of life and a longer life, because we all, our ticket's going to be up sooner or later, but hopefully it's later with a better quality of life. And the reason I say that is because we have so many nutrient deficiencies, and then we're smart. We take brown rice, which is not very nutrient dense anyway, and we form white rice by grinding it, and you lose 80% of the trace minerals like magnesium, manganese, copper, zinc, and many more. So it's deficient anyway, and then you throw away 80%. And you wonder why we're running on empty and getting diseases. Diseases are adaptive physiology.
So we were pretty excited about that. That young lady had held Dr. Lewis's hand through this last 3 weeks and tried to help him direct him, more like it, of what she wanted her dad to have. And after she saw the results, Dr. Lewis said, "I'm so thrilled that he's getting good results. Now maybe she'll trust me and let me do what I need to do to help him regain even more of his health." So we were pretty excited. That was probably our grand story for the week. And, that's what we're here for. It's to help you have a life that's worth living. And if you know of anybody that needs to hear this or needs help, or if it's you, please share this with them and tell them about us, because we don't want to be kept a secret. We're here to help as many people as we can. And if you don't know where to start, go on our website, fill out the health survey, Dr. Lewis will call you directly, and he will help guide you on what's best to get started for your health goals.
If you don't answer, then you're out of luck because we'll play phone tag. So you might have to talk to Janet, which is a better, outcome for you anyway. She's the sweet one. That she said all that about the prostate cancer, much more sweeter than I would have said it. So, or about the direction from the daughter.
Well, we thank you for listening to our show, and if you have any ideas and would like to hear a certain subject, please email us or talk with Dr. Lewis on his Shooting Straight Facebook page. If you're not a fan of that, you can just ask him to add you, and he can include you with any information that he has every day, because he has some pretty good things that come up on that Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis. And we'll talk to you here next time on the Green Wisdom Health Show. Thank you.